But I would like to welcome Professor Simet to our How I Write series. Thanks very much for accepting our invitation.
Welcome.
And if I may start with, we know a little bit about your biography and would like to know from yourself your experience of writing, where it started and where it is right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, when it started, I can't remember actually. Maybe at school, I would say. First time at school, in the last years of my school career, when we had to write a thesis, a small thesis about 10 pages, so that I was working first time with books, to find out what results I could need, which information I could need, and to bring into my paper so that it looks nice and attractive, and also in order to get a good mark, right? So this was the first experience, I think. This was a long years ago in 1980. And then later on, during my studies, it continued.
Okay.
Yeah. So your studies, you have to do assignments from first semester on. And so for me as well, I studied philosophy and German literature and German linguistics. And so I had to do a lot of papers to produce.
Okay. We've heard from your biography that you've had experience of writing books, 2 books.
Yes.
And dozens of articles. Okay.
Yes, correct.
So we are interested in your writing routine. So
In
do
the
you have a
right,
specific
yeah.
writing routine?
No, actually not. First of all, it's important to find enough time to work concentrated for at least, in my case, 1 or 2 hours. If it's less than that, I can't do. So, I was working together with my professor, my doctorate professor, and he could manage to work only 5 minutes. Yeah. So he worked 5 minutes, then someone interrupted him, and he worked again 5 minutes. And so this I can't do. Yeah. So I need always time for at least 1 hour to. We have 1 to 2 hours, so that I can work concentrated on the topic.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when I get into the writing flow, then it's going quite nicely. But to come into this writing flow, it takes me a lot of time and a lot of concentration.
Okay.
So I'm one of the person who need really to be concentrated and to work concentrated and not to be disturbed by anything, by the telephone calls or whatever. So
Okay.
I need silence. Yeah.
Right. So in your case, it would be like everything, telephones and other things turned off.
Exactly.
Quiet area.
Exactly.
For you to be working.
Yeah.
Right. And we have this thing with the students that sometimes people get what is called the writer's block, that you can't think of anything to write.
Yes.
And you're kind of stuck. Do you ever get this? And how do you overcome it, if you get it?
The problem is to get started. For me, the problem is to get started. When I'm in the flow, it's going not easily. It needs a lot of work to go ahead. But the problem for me is to get into this stage. And in order to get into this stage, for me, the best way is to look, say, well, this conference could be nice, so that I make an abstract. To do abstract is for me, well, very easy. To make an abstract for me very easy. So this I can finish very quickly. Then I pass on the abstract, and I get the invitation, and then I know I have to meet the deadlines. And as soon as I know I have to meet the deadlines, so there is enough pressure to keep me running.
Okay. So it is the deadlines that motivates you.
No, they're not motivating me, but they keep me on track, right?
Keep you on the right track.
Otherwise, I'd say, today the weather is nice, let's go there, or to have fun with my wife, or whatever, yeah?
Right.
But if I know, I have to present the paper on this and this time, then I have to work concentrated. I cannot do other things, yeah.
Okay, so setting yourself a goal or a deadline
Yes.
would help
Yes,
you.
yes.
Okay. And there's this thing, the writing part, you write, or what we call draft, and then there is polishing and proofreading, editing. So how much approximate time would you allocate for proofreading and polishing?
That's actually the most time. For me, I'm never satisfied, so I have to read and read and read again, and to change here, to change there. So this takes actually the most time, I would say. As I told you, to write an abstract, for me, it's done very, very easily. Then when I get into the process, then I see, well, I need more time for this chapter and less for the other chapter. Then I have to review the whole set, how I would like to go ahead. Yeah. And so I have to redo it, to revise, and again and again and again. So it takes a long, long time to get the paper on the right track.
Okay. Wow. So it takes as long as producing some
Yes,
text.
yes. And it doesn't matter, if this is a scientific work to do, or just to write an article about the exhibition I saw. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's always the same. Yeah? To get into the process, it's very easy, but then to make it nice and attractive, to make it sexy, let's say. Yeah, it's very often the case if you write for online journals. People want to see something and to get the important messages quickly, and not that you're not writing too long, that you're not writing to give too less information. So this is a process, and this costs time.
Right. I have also heard that you have taught writing.
Yes,
Okay,
academic writing.
Academic writing. That's what we are.
Novel writing is something different, totally different to academic writing. I also published novels, and some poems, So I was editor of a literary magazine, So to go into this field is something totally different than academic writing.
So my question would be how different it is. So what are the major differences between academic writing and other types of writing?
Yeah, academic writing. You need a certain structure, and you have to check what is already available. So which information is already available, and then to bring this into your paper, right? And so that your paper is based on the knowledge that is already there, and that it's easy to see then what is your new methodology, or your new way of thinking, or the new information you create. And in writing novels or poems, you don't care about what is already written. So something coming up to your mind, and you get it and you write it down.
Right. So academic writing would be like to explore it first to see what is there.
Exactly.
As opposed to expressive writing, where you just.
Yes.
All right. And there's also, you have taught the subject called theory of science. For those of us who are not well informed about it, what is that about? So the theory of science.
Yes, theory of science is, in my case, is because I'm teaching, or I was teaching, now I'm not teaching. I was teaching academic writing about, well, let's say so 12 years, something like that. So one generation after the next generation, all of them were educated by me.
Okay.
And then you could see also the progress, right? In order to go into this writing, academic writing, and how to set up academic writing, you need always some theory. Theory. So, for example, you have to show the students how is a paper set up. Yeah? So you analyze other papers in order to show them how is it done. So in this way they also see the case study, always a case study. So you have a case and you can see then, is this appropriate or not? In which way is it appropriate? Can I use it or not? Yeah? And so you learn from rethinking which is already there, then to construct your own work. Yeah? So from reconstruction to construction. This cycle, yeah? I'm using this cycle, and also I bring him some very basic thoughts of theory of science. So it means, you know, how to organize the whole process. What is a research process? What is a quantified research process? How does it start? Why is it starting always with a theory? Yeah. And then you're going from the theory into a hypothesis, and then you have your data and you analyze your data, and then you see if your outcome is according what you would like to have or not, and then you restart the whole process again. Yeah. So these very basic things I'm teaching, and also I teach them where it's coming from. It's coming from Greek philosophy, right? So what's the difference between Plato and Aristotle? Yeah. So we are here. I gave a lecture on Greek philosophy, right? So this is one of the things. Very, very important things are connected with each other. Yeah. You cannot separate. Here is the research strengths, and here is the writing strengths, and there is the teaching strengths. So everything is interlinked, and we work on. Let's say research now is done in networks. So I found other researchers dealing with networks. So then we established our network circle. Yeah. So everything is connected with other things, right?
In your teaching career, teaching academic writing or academic writing mainly, what aspects of writing have been most challenging to your students?
Well, it starts from how to set up a paper. Yeah? Most students have difficulties in the logic of a paper. So what should come first, what should come then, and what should be at the end. So I'm teaching them what should be in the first chapter, what should be then in the second, in the third, and in the last chapter. How the first chapter is interlinked to the last one. Yeah. So in the first one you're writing what you would like to achieve. In the last you're writing what you achieved, and if this is not interlinked, then you have a problem, right? So this kind of things I'm teaching them, right? Very, very simple. Yeah. Very simple to go ahead. One by one, step by step, yeah, and to write small sentences, yeah, not long sentences, small sentences, yeah, full stop. Then the next one, full stop. Then the next one, full stop. Yeah, so you should continue, right?
Right. Have you taught mainly native speakers of the language you've taught in, or
speakers? Yes, mostly German. Yeah, mostly.
Mostly German, right. And
some of the courses I conducted in English, just that they learn how is it to talk in English and to write in English, so that they learned this, yeah. No. But all of them were Germans, right. So even when I gave lectures in Greece and in Poland I was using English. In Greece and in Turkey, I was using German because this was in Turkey for German speaking, but second foreign language. Yeah, first foreign language most is English, second is German. So in Turkey, I used German, and in Greece. In Greece, I used German with translation.
Oh, right. This must be difficult.
This is difficult because then you have really to fix on the sentence, then to give the translator a chance to translate, then you do the next sentence, the next, yeah.
No.
And so it's you're out of the flow, yeah, and you have to come in sentence by sentence, and it's quite challenging.
You mentioned the structure of paper, structuring papers. We have a question coming from our audience who says, how to write an effective research paper? Are there any major pillars for high impact research papers?
What do you mean by high impact?
Well, to publish in high impact academic journals.
Okay. Well, high impact journals. Actually, there is not a big difference between normal journals and high impact journals. Mm-hmm. High impact journals means that that the articles which are published there in the last 2 years before the year. So let me give it in an example. It's more easy. So now we have 2017. Okay.
Right.
So we are looking for the year 2016, 15, and 14. Yeah? So if you want to have the impact factor, then you can have the impact factor only for a year which is already completed. There is no impact factor for an ongoing year. Yeah? So you can have an impact factor not for 2017 because 2017 is ongoing. Okay. So you can have, for example, an impact factor for 2016. Okay. In order to get the impact factor for 2016, you have to look for 2014, 2015. How many articles were published in the journal which you're looking at? Okay. Yeah? And then how often was one of these articles cited in the community, in the research community? Right. So divided the number of citation in 2016 by all articles published in 14 and 15 gives the impact factor. Right. So for some journals this is higher than for others, but it doesn't matter, yeah. So your article will be published only if there is some quality, yeah. If there is no quality or less quality or whatever, it will be not published. And it doesn't matter if it's for a high-ranked journal or for a less-ranked journal. No. The work you have to do is almost the same, yeah.
Okay. Are there any criteria? Yeah, there's the work, the research behind the piece of writing. But is there any criteria for the writing part of it that plays a role? Like maybe it's the structure of it, or maybe there are any specific requirements that must be met so that it gets published in one of this.
Well, the criteria are more or less the same for all the journals. Right now, I did a review of a paper, and I sent my review yesterday to the journal, and now it will be distributed to the author. So I don't know the author, right. And the author don't know me. So this we called double-blind reviewed, right? And of course, then the journal is giving me a guideline saying, well, these are the questions you have to answer by yes or no. Yeah. So yeah. And then later on, they give you a field where you can say recommendations, where you can put your recommendations, observations, and based on the observations, recommendations.